No, it won't let me reply to Crow. Thank you for your resub. Hi Crow, I hope you're doing well. I'll be here in just a sec. Hello, chat room. Let me get on over to my proper screen. How are you guys? I hope you all had a happy holiday, and I hope you're having a wonderful, beautiful Saturday as well. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't have a lot of plans for this stream. So we're just gonna kind of play it by tail. Let me go ahead and say hello to every Hammie, shall we? Give me a quick sec here. I gotta move some stuff around. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, I have to go to... It's been so long, it's been a whole week, and I don't know how to use OBS. Hello, Super Manager. Hello, Boss. Hello, Johnny. Hello, Crow. Hello, King Bay. Hello, Yularian. Hello, Angry Seal. Hello, I follow Cuter. I hope Cuter is still appropriate here. Hello, Johnny. And I think did I get every Hammie? Hamster Wheel, hello Rudiger, welcome. I have a lot of good news. I got a new mic cable. I successfully installed it yesterday. I'm hoping it solves our little staticky issue. I have been informed by Super Manager that I even may sound a little bit more clear. Or not clear, but the volume might sound a little less all over the place, which I'm happy to hear. Hello, Malice. Good morning. Love Michael Cable. I love Michael Romance. Anyway, hi. Hello, every Hammie. Mr. Bark has already moved away from the camera. I have some stuff I need to add to my fan art. My fan art slideshow. But yeah, no. I didn't plan a lot for today because it's gonna be very much a scuff assessment stream and a hello, I'm back. I'm kind of back. Hi T-Sawzy, welcome. Big Dick Hammer! That's right, the Big Dick Hammer. Wait, does that even show? Yeah, it does show. Hi Blackberry! Oh, thank you for the resub. Why did that not come through on my end? Very strange. 5. Oh, I wonder. Blackberry, I hope you're feeling well. Or not, I mean, I guess you're probably not feeling completely better, but I hope it's a little bit better. I hope everyone had good Christmases. I hope you had a good Christmas. I had a pretty good Christmas. Mine was really busy. I'm so sleepy. I'm gonna be honest, I feel like I didn't really get a lot of relaxing in, but I'm very happy. I'm feeling very good. I'm really glad to be back at home with Mr. Bark in my house. Yeah, it feels very nice. I'm getting some lovely rain tonight, and that feels very weird for the end of December, but you know. Oh, hi, Mr. Bark. You trying to say hello to chat? Are you trying to tell them hello? Thank you guys for the hype train, by the way. I really appreciate it. I should have saved some hours for my subscription discount, but I blew through the rest of that. Mr. Bark, holiday pictures are great, by the way. Thank you. I should show those on stream, shouldn't I? I took a lot of good pictures. The room that I was staying in at my mother's, no matter how well I try to take a picture in that room, it just kind of looks like a liminal space. It just looks like a liminal space. I'll show you guys, okay? There's just no way to get a good picture of that room. It's very comfy. I think it's just the way the lighting is in there. It just looks a little wonky, you know? Let's see. let me see. Let me get those pictures really quick. Let me get those pictures. That's not my dog. But yeah, I was gonna do some yapping tonight, and then we were gonna maybe play Pragmata Sketchbook. I'd like to do that. Sorry, I'm getting these pictures so I can show every Hammie. Sweet boy, he's so cute. Mr. Bark was attached to the hip with his grandma the entire week. It was kind of crazy. I think he would have stayed if I offered it to him, but no, he needs to be my guard corgi. I accidentally forgot the gate that I had for him to keep him from going up the stairs without, oh, bye, I guess. See you later. But yeah, no, he seemed like he had a pretty good holiday. He got some, chicken jerky chews. And, he really enjoys them. Grandma bought them for him. Here, let me get, okay, I got the pictures. Here's the liminal room. Here's the liminal space room. How do I use OBS again? Oh, I just deleted it, never mind. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it. Oh my god, okay. So, is it F? Yes, it's F. Control F. Hi, Violet! This new outfit rocks, thank you! I'm pretty happy with my new outfit. I'm pretty stoked. Another reason why tonight's stream is kind of like a test and make sure everything works seamlessly is because over the week I got VBridger finally, and I literally set it up like 20 minutes ago. I set it up 20 minutes ago. I'm not gonna try and hide it. But it seems to be working pretty good. I haven't quite seen the differences between using VBridger, but glad you were able to escape from the liminal space room. Yes, thank you. It did not eat me whole. There's a lot of stuff in just random spots in this room too that kind of cracks me up. Did you see the Slim Man? No, but I met the Hat Man a couple of times, especially that first night when I got, I was still kind of feeling under the weather when I arrived the day after my karaoke stream, my last stream. Hi, Mohammedism, welcome. But yes, I was still pretty worn out and out of it, so I met the Hat Man that evening. I shouldn't be bringing boys to Hammie Mama's house, but the Hat Man, I had to make an exception. My PC crashed and then headphones unpaired. Oh my god! I hope your computer is good. Mr. Bark do be barking though. Hi doggy, that's right. Yeah, I also fixed some stuff in between this has no bearing on you guys. You don't give a fuck at all. But I feel proud that I accomplished all this. I managed to fix some stuff I had going on in OBS to mix it up, and I'm pretty thrilled because it's working so far. Hi, Roden! Welcome! Hello! I hope you're doing well, my friend. Let me get another picture of Mr. Bark. This one's also giving liminal space a little bit. Ugh. There we go. This one, he was really eepy, and I had to crop my dirty laundry out of it, or else you guys would have seen my bra. At least the man you brought was well dressed. Yeah, he had a cool hat. Did some moving today, so I'm tired. You worked really hard. You've been working really hard for a while. Please take some time to relax and unwind, and if you're relaxing while Hamela Hampter be yapping, I'm glad I can help.
Hamster.
Hamster. Hello, Kashua. Mr. Bark was really eepy. Mr. Bark likes to sleep on my laundry, so if I have like a sweater or something, I'll just like throw it on the ground just for him, cause since he's a corgi doesn't really, herding dogs, Johnny told me this. Johnny said herding dogs don't really like snuggled. Mr. Bark doesn't really like snuggled unless it's on his terms too. Hi, Dad Asian Boy 55. Dog. That's him. But yeah, no, he was really eepy-deepy. And then, where's the close-up? I tried to get a picture that kind of was reminiscent of like those old The Dog pictures. And he just looked really sweet. He looked really sweet. Hold on, you're gonna get really close and up and personal with him. Oh, he's bringing you his toys right now. He's bringing you his toys right now. But yeah, no, this is him snuggling my Dakimakura, so I'm a side sleeper, right? I'm a side sleeper. I need a body pillow to be comfy. Without my body pillow, I don't get very comfy, so I kind of like smuggle my Dakimakura. This is a hell of my own making. I realized I had to run out because I was hanging out with Oniham. I was hanging out with Oniham, and Oniham has multiple dogs of various sizes, so it stresses out Mr. Bark, so I don't usually take Mr. Bark to my brother's. Indirect snuggle. I would give him a kiss on his forehead. He is a snuggly boy. He's a snuggly boy. I like this picture. I'm gonna keep it here. I'm gonna keep it here for a bit. Yeah. All side sleeper, I need to make sure I'm properly cooked on all sides. See, I'm very similar like that. Like sometimes if I'm feeling extra spicy, I'll wake up and I'll be like on my back. But I have to kind of flip sides because like if I lay on one arm for too long, that arm loses circulation. And I don't know if you've ever slept on your side, you've probably had the feeling of waking up to your arm being completely numb, and it's the scariest shit. It is the scariest thing sometimes when you're really groggy. But yeah, no, I had that happen really bad like a couple weeks ago. I like woke up and I was like, I hope I regain use of this arm because it kind of feels like it's not gonna happen. Got it from a closing 7-Eleven for a steal. I could fit on a hot dog roller. I want that for me. I woke up once and my hand and feet are numb and I thought I had a stroke. Oh my god, that's terrifying. That's absolutely horrifying. Arm was numb for like 15 minutes once. It was very scary. Yeah, this is how it felt a couple weeks ago when it happened. Cause like not only like I was on the side less slept, I was on the side I don't usually wake up on. And then I was just like, I would try and move my fingers and the wrong finger would move. And I was like, I don't think this is supposed to be what happens. 32 years of my life, I've never had that happen. And I was scared, Chad. I was scared. I was so confused. And Mr. Bark was just kind of staring at me like, you good? You good? Woken up with my arm numb for so long, I've gotten used to it. So I start flopping it like a noodle. See, I was I was so scared. I was just like, what the hell? Dropping by extremely high. Hello, Hamela dear. Hello, False. Hello. Oh no, that's not False. That's Frau. Oh, Frau. Hi, it's good to see you. I hope you and Vanilla had a great holiday. I hope you enjoy your high. I am living vicariously through you right now. Be careful when you get down. You better go chase it. And by it, I mean my peanuts. Oh, that didn't go anywhere I expected it to. You know what? I'm gonna stop talking for a second. Peanuts. I've been kind of obsessed with peanuts. What? It's so funny. It's so funny. For a second, I thought he was gonna say I was dropped on the head. I mean that too, honestly. When I was little, my parents played catch with me, and I hit my soft spot on the ceiling, and you know that's why I'm at right now. Peanuts. Anyway, hi. Hello. Oh man. Also, don't forget, because I dropped it last time, is it Hamela Peace? Yeah, we got a new emote. We got a new emote, by the way. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's really, really good. First emote with the new outfit. Oh man, I had so much more I was gonna tell you guys. I'm so glad you guys like that. I think you guys kind of... I'm looking around to see if they're around. I think you kind of made Sea Kissy's day a little bit by enjoying it as much as you do. So it's a really good emote. Wanted to say so for Christmas, but I guess I was naughty. You should have been haughty instead. Oh man. I'm kind of hoping maybe I can get some new emotes when my new payout happens. I'm excited. I want some more. I need some more stuff with the new outfit, I think. What else did I do? What else did I do that you guys probably don't give a shit about, but you're gonna listen to me anyway? What else did I do? I fixed a lot of stuff. Super Manager guided me through setting up Pragmata Sketchbook tonight, so my computer shouldn't eat shit when we actually switch over. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of have a hankering to play some words on stream tonight if you guys will be willing to indulge me. Man, but yeah, no, I fixed my mic, I set up VBridger, I fixed some of my like transition stuff and mix it up, got all my stuff turned back on, because last week was kind of weird. Oh yeah, that's right, tonight we're gonna be watching Tokyo Godfathers in the, Discord. So make sure you drop by if you want to watch it. It's gonna be good. I've never seen it before, so I've been really, really excited. I got a really good snoozer last night. Like I said, I'm tired, but honestly, this is probably like, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. We watching sub or dub? Whatever version is currently on my hard drive. We'll probably find out in a bit. But honestly, I'll probably let you guys decide because I don't usually have a preference. The mic is fixed. Hammie got rid of the ghost haunting the mic. I tried. I kind of had a feeling that the mic cord was on the way out because I had it was not a very long cord at all. Not a long cord. And I had it kind of like, it was kind of at its limit because I have it plugged into my audio box. I have it plugged into my audio box, right? And then it travels up my mic boom, and then it's at my mic boom, right? But it was just kind of like, I think it was maybe pulling a little bit on the like actual like mic itself, and that's why it kept making like if it moved. Yeah, exactly. I'm almost 99% sure that that's what happened. So this time I got a bit of a longer cord and it has a lot more give. And honestly, once I got it set up, it's been a lot easier to kind of maneuver on my desk anyway. So I feel kind of silly that I put it off for so long, you know? I had a lot going on. I'll give myself a little bit of credit here. But yeah, no, let's see. I'm thinking. I do want to go ahead and like microdose you guys a warning. Next week is gonna be light on the streams. I'm gonna try and fit in some time for streaming, but I do have some friends visiting for the new year, and I want to be able to entertain them, so I probably won't stream most nights next week. But some of the things I really wanted to do, if it worked out, is I want to do another stream where I make Puyo. Oh my god, what is his problem? Mr. Bark, you good? Money was either ghost haunting Mike or the big stew, but glad to hear it is most likely gone. Well, you can entertain them by streaming. This is true. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe I'll do some Puyo hams. I'll do some Puyo hams on stream if I can find some time, but I don't want to be a bad host, so we'll see, okay? I'm working really hard. We might have a late schedule on Monday while I figure it out, because I think I might wait for my friend to get here that morning to kind of just decide what nights I can kind of do the thing, you know? Anyway, yeah. I just wanted to let you guys know that after next week, things will probably be back to normal. Gotta appreciate the Hamley. That's right. And like, I don't get to see these friends very often. I got to see them when I went to see MCR in Chicago. And I don't really make it out to Chicago very often, and they don't really make it out to Kansas very often. So, you know, we're doing our best. But yeah, no, let's see. I'm thinking, I feel like I had even more. I sound like a broken record. But yeah, no, really excited. holidays, don't sweat it, not being able to stream much. Yeah, I'm trying not to. I always feel like a sense of obligation, and I think it kind of plays in, it doesn't play very nice with my anxiety. You guys know me. I basically, every time I go on break, I'm just like, what if I come back and nobody likes me anymore? My brain is so mean. It's so mean. Hammie is parasocial to us. No, maybe just a little bit, but no parasocial. Chat, I did something bad. I picked Stranger Things back up. I picked Stranger Things back up. I've been watching Stranger Things. And I know, I'm sorry too. I really like Joe Keery though, so I don't know if that's how you say his last name. We're gonna pretend it is. But yeah, no, it sucks because it's like, I finished Gravity Falls and I really enjoyed it, but there was a hole left in my heart a little bit, and like, there's a little bit of a hole left in my heart for something weird, and you know, Netflix is one of the few subscription services I'm still actually subscribed to, even though I canceled a whole bunch of them. Gonna lurk. Thank you, Rodin, for the lurk. But yeah, yeah. That's what I've been up to. I watched a bunch of documentaries over the week because I had my insomnia was kicking my butt this last week. All of my other insomnia havers probably get it, but when you have like a change in where you fall asleep in, you gotta, your brain is so picky. That's why I take my Dakimakura with me, just because it's like, if I don't have my Daki, I can't just replace him with another pillow. Oh, I was gonna tell you what happened to me, and I almost died, like, inside. I almost imploded from the inside out, and it was not awesome. But yeah, no, I went over to Oni Ham's to watch the last few episodes that came out on Christmas of, I almost said Smiling Friends, Stranger Things. And then I realized that Hammie Mama, she had came down to free the beast, Mr. Bark, and hang out with him once she finished up with my stepdad stuff. And I realized when I got back, because there was like, Mr. Bark obviously wasn't down there when I got back, but I realized that my Dakimakura was face up on the shirtless side and flipped up. I mean, like, it wasn't too bad. It's Amaric from Final Fantasy XIV, so it isn't too bad. It's a very tasteful Dakimakura, but still, it was not. I usually tuck it in before I leave because I'm like, okay, that way Hammie Mama can't make fun of me later. Because I'm gonna go on a tangent here. When I was moving out of my college dorm, I had a Yoko Littner Dakimakura, and she was breasting very boobily, and my mom grabbed her and started carrying her down to the car, and when she started loading her into the trunk with my stepdad, they laughed! I almost cried. And I probably put way too much effort now into making sure she doesn't see my Dakis. But, you know, it was very clearly Where did you get that? Where did I get the Yoko Littner pillow? It was pre-time skip. I got it when I was in high school at a local anime convention. Where did you get that beautiful smile? Oh my goodness. Let me see if I can remember my hotkeys. I'm blushy. This guy knows ball, thank you. No, I was in high school and I got it at like maybe my second or third anime convention I ever went to, because I was so desperate. I was so desperate for like something I had watched that I wanted merch from. And so I got this Yoko body pillow, and it honestly was like, it was perfect. Like it was very nice for my insomnia back then too. So like ever since I got her, I think I still have the pillow. I think I might still have the pillow. I'll dig it out and I'll try and find a picture of it. Actually, I think I might know where it's at. Oh. You know what? I'm not gonna get it out just so I can throw it in the Mr. Bart cam for you guys to see it. That feels irresponsible. But yeah, no, it's like official art, so it's not like she's naked or anything. But like, you guys know what she looks like. She wears the bikini top. She has kind of big boobies. Anyway, my mom and stepdad laughed so hard at that pillow. Hammy trying to explain why she got a Yoko pillow. They understand. And then my mom was so surprised when I came out as bisexual. She was so surprised. And I'm just like, mother, the signs were there the whole time. But for real, insomnia does hate any change of environment. It really does. Like, sometimes you just can't sleep. Like, if you go and the temperature's different, like my room has been kind of cold. My room's been kind of cold. And then for some reason it was 70 fucking degrees on Christmas. It was so hot. I had to crack the window and it got really cold at night. But yeah, no, like even just like a few degrees difference can really wreck your shit. Insomnia sucks. If you have it, I feel for you so hard. Mine's just been acting up really bad lately. She did miss all the signs, which is really weird. I mean, I guess I can't blame her. It's not like she was looking for them. But I feel bad. I think I was supposed to be the kid that... You know what? I had no hope in being normal. I had no hope at being normal. I was always kind of a little freak. I had to basically fight my stepdad for a while over control of the thermostat. You gotta get one of those smart thermostats so you can control it from your phone. So whenever it gets changed, you're just like, hell yeah, I got this. He'll never know a thing. To the point where I taped a card saying Kimbe cannot sleep above 72. Oh my god. So anything above 72 degrees, I'm throwing fists. I'm throwing ham hands. But yeah. I above 72, that's so hot. That's ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, no, she saw my naked elf boy pillow and there were signs she did. But yeah, he was just kind of out there like full shirtless and I was just like, oh my god. And his grippers are out. He's not wearing shoes. Half naked. Yeah, I guess it's better than being like full naked, I guess. I've never owned a lewd pillow. They're just like little tastefully sexy. When you get into a hotel room, do you crank the air cold or keep it like room temperature? I crank it down because I know people get mad at you when you say this, but if you're too cold, it's easier to get warm instead of cooling off if you're too hot, you know? And then if like the room's too hot and you gotta change it down, it's gonna take time and you're gonna spend that time trying to get it to cool down. Oh my god. Hammie, you would die in my 82-degree bedroom? Absolutely I would. See, I'm so easy to please. I always just put everything on the funny sex number. Like 69 degrees, hell yeah, let's go. But yeah, if I'm in a hotel room, that's the first thing I do. I'm like... You guys are gonna tell me I have OCD again. I literally, like, I have a routine when I go into a hotel room. It doesn't matter if I'm staying for a week or if I'm staying 2 days. I go in there and I crank that shit down. And then I completely unpack my suitcase if there's a dresser. And I hang up my clothes that need hung up. And I get told that I'm a little extra. Crank that shit, sister. As someone that's shared a hotel room with Hammie before, she sets it to like -50. Right when you get in, you're like, wait, don't hamsters hibernate? I want to hibernate. I have some of the best snoozers in a hotel room. You get those pillowy comforters. Hammie, are you real or just a dog breath-induced hallucination? I'm a figment of your imagination. The Hat Man is visiting you right now, and I'm gonna introduce him. Make sure you check behind you, okay? And if it's not behind you, open your door, take a look outside, just double check. He might let you in. Or he might want you to let him in. Hammie is the Hat Ham. I am the Hat Ham. Take your meds. Can't spell cold without OC. Stop! No! Guys, I've been talking to my therapist about OCD, and she doesn't think I have it, and you guys are wrong. She doesn't think I have it. She just thinks that my anxiety is more severe than originally thought, and I think that's really funny. I think that's kind of hilarious. But a relevant video and memes. I'm excited. Anyway, my nose itches, and I'm gonna do something about it. I wonder what my model looked like, because I wasn't looking. Honestly, I agree with Therapy-chan. Therapy-chan. Man, did I tell you guys I had to explain VTubing to my therapist last time? I had to explain it to her, and I promise I'm not talking about you guys to her. You guys are great. But I had to she was asking how it was going, how my streaming was going, and I had to kind of explain a few things, and it was kind of fun. But yeah, no, I just have really bad anxiety. Like, honestly though, originally we thought my my ADHD was originally supposed to be anxiety, but then we ended up actually figuring out it was ADHD, and now I'm medicated. Oh man, I'm doing so good. I was severely dehydrated. And I've been trying to work on this water, so we're gonna stick to it. Is the therapist now in the rabbit hole? I don't think so. Who's your therapist? Oshi? I feel like I would be her Oshi. Mouse and I with the brain cell. Sharing it. Yay! Pass it around. Hot potato. But yeah, no, I think I'm my therapist's Oshi. I'm also my physical therapist's Oshi. Does anybody else know about Hamela Hampter? Brain cell rotation. Hot potato because neither of us want it. Take that thing away. Oh, Mr. Bark wants kibbles. Are we gonna see him bring his dish in though? Hold on, chat. Hold on. This is really important. Mr. Bark, what's going on, buddy? Is he gonna bring it in? I want him to bring it in really bad. Could be a local celebrity at this point. Oh my god, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Being a micro celebrity. That even feels generous. That feels generous. I don't want to do it. These knees are made of cheese. Who am I to disagree? That's what my knees feel like. There he is! He brought it! Did you guys enjoy that? Look, he's bringing it to chat. Chat, fill up my bowl. Fill it up. Fill it up. Fill it up! Chat, I should probably get him some food. Oh my god, you're making a mess! Stop it! You're gonna knock it over! You're gonna knock over the trash can! Okay. One moment. You're silly. You want chat to fill your bowl up? Crazy man.
Hi, doggy.
Alright, we're back. We are so fucking back. Was that not the cutest thing? Was that not adorable? Mr. Bark, you got a treat. Kimbe's giving you a treat. Hi. Alright, Mr. Bark. Are you ready for your treat? Are you sitting pretty? Good boy. One treat for you. Even though you unfolded your blanket that I folded nice and neat earlier, you get your treat. Who am I to tell you that you can't have a treat from chat, huh? He's so funny. I was really hoping he would bring it in. I was not expecting him to bring it to you guys. You know, maybe I should be a researcher. Maybe I should study dogs interacting with chat room. Imagine what I could bring to the table with Mr. Bark. Anyway, hi. I hope you guys had a... Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. Mr. Bark was, he was like... I was kind of getting worried. He wouldn't eat his food while we were out visiting Grandma. And, in turn, he wasn't pooping. And I was really worried. I was really worried one night. And then, Hammie Mama gets up at like 8 p.m. and is just like, that's it. I'm gonna make him a scrambled egg. And she makes him a scrambled egg and he eats it and he poops and we were all relieved. But oh my god, she spoiled him rotten. And now he's kind of like, sorry, my leg itches, so I'm getting up now to itch it. But yeah, no, he got spoiled rotten. Thank you for the hydration check and the check-in. Let me go ahead and take a sippy. I think it's really funny that my model catches me when I take a sip now. I think it did before, but it's more obvious now. Mr. Bark, chat filled up your bowl. It wasn't me, I promise. Anyway, I've been talking for like 40 minutes, and I said I'd do that, but we could play Words on stream for a bit, and then do some Pragmata Sketchbook. I have the game pulled up, or we could do that first and then play Words on stream. Feed a dog fancy food once and they refused to eat their normal food for a week. Yeah, I know! And she made him eggs for breakfast almost every day we were visiting. It was really funny. My Hammie Mama is kind of the person that's like the dad that doesn't want a dog. And you really want to see Pragmata? Okay, we'll play Pragmata first, and then we'll do some work. We'll wrap the stream up tonight with Words on stream. But yeah, no, we're only gonna go till 9 tonight because I want to watch Tokyo Godfathers. But I think that sounds like a good plan. Hammie, this is gonna be a Zatsu stream. Also, Hammie, oh my god, I've been talking so much. Well, at first I was like a little worried because I was like, I don't really know what I want to talk about. I don't know, like, I guess I didn't really take a lot of pictures and stuff. Ghoul fathers, me. Oh man, I got these socks for Christmas, and they say I like spooky shit on them, and I really like them. I'd show them to you, but you guys would be freaks about it, I think. Anyway, yeah, yeah. I think tomorrow, I don't know if it's gonna be tomorrow, but, either tomorrow or oh, tomorrow is Sunday, fuck. My whole week is kind of thrown weird into limbo. But, one of these evenings, I want to take Mr. Bark in the car to go look at some Christmas lights, because I saw someone on TikTok take their puppy to go look at Christmas lights, and it was so magical. So I think me and Mr. Bark are gonna go on a Christmas light viewing date. It'll be really fun. I wanted to this week, but I ended up being so occupied between running my niece to work, hanging out with everybody that wanted to hang out with me while I was in town, and also trying to help out Hammie Mama. And then, yeah, I just kind of keeping up with everything, you know? One of the things I like to do when I visit my family is see how I can be helpful to them and make their life a little easier while I'm in town, and so I go pretty hard to make sure I can achieve that. One time I saw a Ken Kaneki rap at a random Quick Trip, like someone wearing it, or you just kind of saw it on the ground? Wait, no, you mean like an Itasha, like a car wrap. Oh my god. I thought you meant his mask. I thought you meant his mask. Yeah, car grab. That's crazy. Who's gonna make the first Hamela Hampter Itasha? I have a friend who not only has a Miku Itasha, but for a long time she had the car tag Fujoshi, right? She had Fujoshi until the city made her change it because somebody called in and complained about it, which is really funny because like somebody was willing to call in the tag office and be like, this means something bad, and you know what that means. Who complained? I have no idea. I don't know the full story, but that happened and they made her change it. They made her change her tag. Yeah, it means they self-reported, and I think that's really funny. The craziest hater behavior. I know. Like, come on. Fujoshi isn't that bad. Literally 1984, you're absolutely right. Bring it to a higher court. Take it to the Supreme Court. Do it. No, I thought that was incredible though. Like honestly, like I felt so bad for her. I know she thought she was laughing really hard about it. I hope she changed it from Fujoshi to Yoi Lover. I hope so too. I should ask her. I should send her a message and be like, hey, we haven't talked in a bit, but I need to know what happened. They probably just want that for themselves. Yeah, they go in and they'd be like, yeah, I want that Fujoshi tag. I remember there was a Twitter bot a long time ago. No, I don't think you should correct that actually. I liked Yoi Lover a lot more. But yeah, no, it's it was crazy. Fujoshi tag on the Miku car. But Mr. Bark, you're crazy. You brought Chat a flower? Did you bring Chat your flower? Oh, guys, he brought you his flower. Here, you guys are gonna probably see my legs really quick. It says flower. Yeah, Mr. Bark, you bring that to Chat. But yeah, no, I always wanted a funky car tag, but like, that means she couldn't blast the Miku Fujoshi song with the Fujo tag. No, knowing her, she probably still did that actually. The Rotten Girl? Oh man, because that came out, that was almost it's somewhere between half a year ago and a year at this point. Time is a flat circle. Time is a flat circle. But yeah, no, that sucked, and I hope whoever reported her, I hope that helps them sleep at night, I guess. Goofy ass behavior. But yeah, no, it's really funny. Let's play Pragmata Sketchbook. Let's do it. Let's play the game. Also, I also hope that person stubs their toe. So you guys can't make fun of me. This game gonna look like dog shit on my computer, okay? It's gonna look like dog shit. Country hamsters make do. There's a post about the mama bear tag. Oh no, what I was saying and I completely forgot already. There is this Twitter bot a long time ago that would take like tag requests from the California DMV, and it would tell you the reasoning behind why they were either rejected or accepted half the time. And I still remember there was like a 2B9S one that it exists on Blue Sky now. Will you send it to me? I need to revive my Blue Sky account, and that already seems like pretty good reason to do that. Yay! That's one of my New Year's resolutions. Is I want to try and be better about cross-posting and stuff. I want to be better about cross-posting. I really also would like to try and learn how to multi-platform stream. If that happens, I'm not the most like technologically capable person. You guys know that. But I could probably figure it out. Anyway, this game's gonna look like dog shit on my computer. You're not allowed to complain or you'll hurt my feelings. But we also, how bad, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Silent Hill was kind of rough on my computer, so I'm assuming this game is also going to be pretty rough on my computer. Let's just say Twitter has gotten really good at advertising Blue Sky recently. Oh yes, it has. I was like I was scrolling at Twitter earlier today. Like, I honestly didn't really get a lot of time to use Twitter while I was out of town. That game just wasn't your computer's forte. I liked that. I enjoyed that quite a bit, actually. But I just, like, I'll be, like, scrolling and I'll find a post and I'm like, oh, I want to retweet that. And then I'll go to click on it and it won't even let me click on it. Like, this happens on both my phone and my computer, I realized today. And I was just like, this is just a broken website now, isn't it? And then there's, like, the rumor that some dude got the old licensing for Twitter back, so there might be reopening Twitter, but don't hold me to that. It was just something I saw scrolling my timeline like a week and a half ago. But yeah, no, I'd really like to get better about using Blue Sky. I wish really badly that you could have a private account on Blue Sky. Not that I would do one for my, like, streaming shit, but, like, you know, sometimes you just don't want to be perceived. Remember hearing that for Vine, but no idea how well that's going. I also remember hearing that. I feel like with Vine, it was kind of a recent development. Oh, hold on, I gotta change some stuff. I gotta change my info, so we're gonna play Pragmata. I really want to get this game when I come out. Oh, guys! You guys are gonna be kind of mad at me, I think, when you hear this. I didn't realize To a T came out, finally. It came out back in May. I got it for a gift from Super Manager for Christmas, but I realized that it came out in May. It's the game that we played about the grade schooler who's stuck in a T-pose, and it's made by the guy that made Katamari Damacy. So I now own that game. We're gonna stream it soon. Okay? I'm sorry I didn't realize it came out. Hi, Keen! Welcome! Hello! Mr. Bark says hello. Keen, I don't have the timestamp, but a few minutes ago, Mr. Bark just brought his dish up to the camera and wanted chat to feed him. It was really funny. I just think that you needed to know that. Yay! Yay! Give Super Manager a shout out. Enjoy your axe, by the way. Searching now. Yeah, it was like, I want to say 10 minutes ago, if you see the BRB screen in the thumbnail, just go like maybe a couple minutes before that where the camera's really big on the screen. And you'll get to see him bring it up to chat, and it's pretty good. I need somebody to clip it. I'll go back and clip it at some point, though. Day one is lead moderator, and she's already abusing her powers. You know, that's fine, that's fine. If shouting out yourself is is abusing your power, I think I get it pretty easy. Oh shit, it's ad game. Be strong ad game. I keep accidentally trying to call you ad gay, so I apologize. We got ad straights and ad bisexuals here. I gotta make sure to be inclusive. But ad gay and be strong, okay? Even the ad gays. Here's a recap, ad gang. No, not Hamela aggro. He's gonna Hamela aggro. Where does ad gay land in PEMDA stuff? For some reason, I was like sitting around. I was really, really tired. I didn't sleep very good the night before, and I was thinking really, really hard about PEMDAs. And I was like, oh man. Please excuse my dope ass swag. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I like dope ass swag better, but I don't think I'm a minority there. Hamela is advocating for ad gay, ad bi, ad straight rights. Yeah, and then like you can be an ad ally. All of my subs. Oh, I can't call you guys that. I can't call you. All of my subscribed viewers are ad allies. Hi. Oops. You can't on Friday? Oh god. I was like, what day is it again? It feels like Friday. I'm not gonna lie. happily go by that name. You want to be the sub? You want to be a whole submarine sandwich? It's either Subway or the highway. Saturday is just extended Friday. You're right. Give me your fucking money. Hand me all of my uke. Did I tell you guys about the time I saw a guy with a I think it was a girl that obviously had a Firehouse? Man, Firehouse is good. My Potbelly's closed a long time ago and I'm still mourning it. She was beautiful. I miss her every day. But I saw somebody with a sticker on their card that said, "I love my ooks," and like clearly they were talking about ukuleles, but it made me kind of like, I thought I was having a stroke. Like I smelled burnt toast in the car. Gotta get more Jersey mics before they get in shitified. Did they get bought out? Yeah, I literally said it just like that. I love my ooks. And I was like, holy shit. And like, I did something responsible, chat. Don't do as I say, not as I do. I tried really, really hard to get a picture of it. So I got this really blurry ass gross picture. And I'm gonna see if I can find it because I have a hard time deleting photos, but I'll see if I can find it at some point and I'll post in the Discord or something. I'm gonna show the Discord one more time. You guys are in the Discord tonight. We're gonna be watching a movie and you can see my sticker as long as it doesn't dox, or not my sticker. I wish it was my sticker. I should get that sticker for me. I don't know how to play a ukulele. But I'm really sad because I have to I left my car out for kind of an extended period of time this summer because I tried to leave room in my itty bitty garage to take Mr. Bark through the garage out to go potty, and I had to build a ramp for him and everything when he got his back injury. Long story though, I left my car out in the heat over the summer.
Alice tipped 4.2 USD as one of your subs. I'll give you my fucking money.
Thank you. I appreciate you for your $4.20. Wahoo! But I had to, so this is your money will now go to replace the sticker. I just had to peel off my car, and it said I got my lobotomy at Chow Garden, and I pulled it off my car finally because it was like crispy, faded, and everything, and I was so devastated. The summer was brutal on it, really. I quietly peeled it off right in front of my entire family and my mom's boyfriend, not my boyfriend. His extended family was all there, and I peeled the sticker off my car and just like kind of like hid it behind my back. And then they proceeded to look at my other sticker that says, my Neopet graduated from Harvard Law School. I'm a fucking disaster. Hi Zamada, I don't know if I said hello. I was deep in my storytelling, but yeah, no. I will now go and replace my I got my lobotomy at Chow Garden sticker, and I'm really excited. Thank you, Malice. Happy financial domination Friday/Saturday. Yeah, chat, they revoked the Neopets diploma. No, they didn't. That one's still on my car. I didn't take that one off. That one's there for the long haul. I'm looking for the Chow Garden one right now. Let me see if I can find it and I'll post it. It should still be in my Etsy orders. I think it was Etsy. Was it Etsy? Where are my orders? I don't know how to use Etsy anymore. Let's see. No, it's not showing up. Yeah, here it is. Will the auto mod nuke me? It can't nuke me. It's this one. Anyway, I'm gonna replace it now. Maybe I shouldn't put it on my car this time. You know what? We'll figure it out later. You guys want to play this game? You guys want to play this game? It's a good sticker. Just don't let your car bake outside with it, and you'll be good. You'll be good. Solid. Anyway. Don't have a car, but I'll just surprise someone. You could put it on your, if you have a cup. You know, I really like I have my Owala, and I love my Owala. It's such a good canvas for stickers. Chat, let's all get the same set of bumper stickers and then get a Sparta hymn situation. We would be like a secret club. Black market HRT hollow sticker. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, this game looked so pretty, and then I had to adjust the settings, and now it looks a little crazy. But you know what? That's okay. We're gonna do casual, okay? We're gonna do casual. This mode is recommended for players who are unaccustomed to action games. Enemies will be weaker, aim assist will be turned on. That's fine. You guys won't nuke me into orbit for being bad at the video game, so. She's so cute. That's my daughter.
Diana, little help here. Look out. What are you doing?
Ham assist. She is big chilling. Hugh! Is that his name? It probably is. Use your weapon, primary unit to attack. Left trigger. Okay, this is pretty easy. Can I? Headshot! Boom!
Hey, you gonna help?
1 second.
She's coloring! She's so cute. Reach the green EXE node to hack targets. Move the cursor across the hacking menu. We're gonna hack it! Thank you, Keen. I appreciate that. Oh man, okay. Move the cursor across the hacking matrix and connect it to the EXE node to complete the hack, placing enemies. Okay, this is gonna be trial and error, I think.
Diana, I need your hack in here.
Oh, okay, that wasn't as difficult as I was worried.
On it. Nope.
Get owned. Refined from mineral unique to the moon known as Lunum. Luna filament can absorb and copy any information it comes into contact with. Required for various upgrades in the shelter.
More of them?
Oh man. She's so cute. I love my daughter.
Get fucked.
Yeah, get fucked.
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's collect all this aluminum. This is actually really fun. Get shot in the dick, asshole.
Glad that's over with.
I'm gonna blast his robot dick off.
Working on there.
That's a secret. I'll tell you later.
Please, be sure to keep time in mind for movie night. I will. This demo is only supposed to be about 15-17 minutes long. During investigation of abnormalities at the cradle, Hugh Williams becomes isolated and meets a young android, Diana. The two head to the top floor of the solar power plant to restore the main power so they can call Earth for help. From seeing the trailers years ago, I did not imagine the spacesuit guy to have the biggest dad energy ever. Yeah, no, I'm really excited. So with Hammie, that should take us— Stop! That's not true! Maybe like 30 minutes, and then I'll play Words on Stream until the end of the hour.
First, we get the power on. Let's move.
Oh, it's Owen! Hi, Owen! Biggest hater. Super Manager's my op.
Don't look now, but we got company.
You really sure you work here?
What? This is my fault?
Oh no, I'm gonna get blasted! Dodging and jumping consume thruster gauge. Dodge with RB. A, I can jump and hover! Jump and hover. Wait, how do I? Oh god. Oh, okay, that's my, can I open you? Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. I'm glad you guys enjoy the yapping. Excited for Android daughter game? Me too, this game looks so good. I'm really excited. Oh, I had to set it to Pragmata. Oh wait, but I didn't get it set. Oh my god, the bots are wilding out. I want my ham TV. Yeah, no, Pragmata Sketchbook itself isn't in the category, so we just go by Pragmata, I think. Emergency kit that repairs minor damage to your suit. Oh, whoops, hold on. I forgot to click, you got Android or iPhone? You got games on your phone? Can I hide from this over here? Oh god. Yeah, I was actually thinking of you, Owen. I was like, oh man, if Owen really likes Stranger Things, then I bet this would be right up that cat boy's alley. Oh, alley cat. Does this classify as a Stranding genre game? I don't necessarily think it does, but you do carry around a little child. It's got similar energy. Yeah, Death Stranding, you walk around a lot. I'm walking right now, you know. You got me, you get me. I'm gonna look around. We got some lasers here. If I walk into them, I'll definitely explode, so we're not gonna do that. Because I am a smart hammer. Like games with companions that pull at your heartstrings. I also like that. I also like that quite a bit.
It's locked.
I can open it.
Oh, I love her. If anything happens to her, I'm taking out chat and then I'm taking out myself. Oh. Oh, this is really hard when you're not... When you don't usually use an Xbox controller.
There we go.
So we got two. We got two more. Maybe Hammie can be in this one since Peiko is in Death Stranding too. Absolutely. Guys, everybody tweet at Hideo Kojima right now. Actually, no. That wouldn't do us any good. That wouldn't do us any good. Hideo Kojima doesn't work on this, but I could be in Death Stranding 3 if we start now. Mutually assured destruct him. Yeah. Where do I go? It's Kojima, he'd find a way. You're right, he would find a way. Get me in, get me in. Can I go down here? That's where we came from, but I don't think there's anything over there. What's here? Oh. Dear Kojima or Capcom, I want to carry around Hampter. I want to, oh wait, hold on, I know what we're doing. I know what we're doing. Watch this, chat. Whee! Whee! We go down now. Okay, hold on. I wish I could float. I'd be so powerful. Where's the Twitter post where it looks like Kojima sliced a car in half? I want to know. The community notes was just like, he can actually just do that. That's so funny. Okay, we gotta get over there, I think. We're too far right now. Wait, hold on, hold on, hold on. Can I get up there? Yes. What are we doing? Hold on, my ear itches. My ear itches. Okay, okay. We're going over here. Let's hope we don't regret it. Whee! You found it? Thank Christ. Ooh, a shockwave gun. Give me that. How do I pick you up? With a Y, not X. Mom finding the yaoi. Oh my god. An attack unit specializing in frontal suppression that fires. That sounds pretty rad. Make enemies easier to stagger. Becomes less effective as distance increases. Gotcha, gotcha. Cool.
That one's not that good at long distances.
The ears. Oh wait, hold on.
Look, look.
Not bad. Leave the shooting to me.
Great shooting, Tex. Get blasted, idiot.
Look at how first targeting sensor.
I need to stop using that button. Am I out of ammo? Yeah. Awesome.
So where to?
I don't know. Try scanning.
Emergency lockdown for this area has been disabled.
Favorite thing about Hammie 2.0 is my same thing. Favorite thing about Hammie 1.0. Hammie is cute and funny and brings a smile to all our. Aww, that's very kind. I was gonna screech, but then I decided you guys probably don't want that, so I'm gonna be really good and just say thank you. I wanna look around. How do we get out of here, actually? Through this door. Pod. Pod!
Q, there's a terminal.
Over here. But how do I get up there? Oh, I'm not very bright. It will maybe take us like 3 hours. God, we got Fallout Ham Canon. Yeah, to the Hammieverse. The Hammieverse. The Hammie Cinematic Universe. This looks like so much fun. Hacking nodes, yellow, have special effects that trigger when passed through while completing a hack. I want my HamCU. Sorry, I meant to mute myself when I coughed, but then it wasn't in time. Hacking node that disrupts enemy internal systems, temporarily increasing damage dealt. Repeated use on the same enemy reduces its effectiveness. Passing through multiple nodes of the same type boosts damage further. Hacking node.
This will make it easier to hit things harder.
Hell yeah, sister. Let's go fuck them up.
Intruders detected. Please remove them from the premises. Eat us again. I feel like a damn rat in a maze.
Ah!
I keep off.
Whatever.
Oh shit.
Let's just get this over with. This frickin' thing is tough as hell.
Way stronger than
Oh god. No, let me up. Man, I'm getting scrambled. Ooh! Shit.
Now it's mine.
Oh god.
Jump, Q!
shit. Red hammy poppers? That'd be kind of fun though, I think. I like them.
Jump you.
Get blasted! We got a healer suit. Oh, we just exploded. Okay, that's awesome. There we go. We do have items that will help. Hopefully I don't regret this. Do I have any other... Oh wait, hold on. One of these days I'll memorize how a Xbox controller is set up. California ham. I like that. Wait, hold on. We go straight through here. I got disoriented and turned around. Here we go. We want to go over here. How do we get over there, though? No. I want to go down. What if I fall all the way down? Oh. This is the demo. It came out when the Game Awards... The same night that the Game Awards happened. The game itself, I believe, comes out in April. And I really want it. Really bad.
We can use this to hit harder and beat things faster.
What do we got here?
Emergency lockdown for all on-site locations.
Oh, I need to put it on here.
Power plant controller to fully restore
Through the unlocked door.
All right, we made it. Now where do we find the main power terminal?
Down there. All the way down there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Woo! After stream, I'll add it to my throne, if you guys want. I really want to play this when it comes out. It looks really good. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I also, oh yeah! I finally got my payout for Elden Ring finally came out, so I picked it up, and, we'll be playing that soon, after my company leaves, probably. Oh god, I didn't mean to do that. Left. It said left. Send me 1.2 million in unmarked bills? I mean, I'm not a narc. Need to finish your Elden Ring before you can have your Pragmata. Yeah, I guess that's understandable. Restore power to the lunar base. Reach the top of the floor of this facility. Yes, another gun. Oh, is this one, it's a stun gun. Expands on impact, immobilizing enemies within its radius for a short... Oh, so it's a stun gun, but it can also hit multiple enemies. That's kind of cool. Oh, I want to see. Okay, that's kind of badass, though. That's kind of cool. I'm excited. Oh god, we have to face one of these motherfuckers again?
Hamster.
Oh shit. No, my gun's gone! Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, let's do this.
Jump you.
I want to loop around and grab the ones I missed. Yeah, there will be plenty of fuck-offs, because I have never played a Souls-like game, and I'm scared. I'm gonna be so pissed off. Don't say I didn't warn you, though. Don't say I didn't warn you. Yes, he is. Hugh Janus.
Good work.
Hi.
Jump you.
Hamela, yes. Oh shit.
Now it's mine.
Hammie, hi.
The bots here. They all got haywire or what?
Ooh, you're mine now.
Attack humans.
Yeah, well, we better get in contact with her before it's too late.
You can just unga bunga through the game? How do I unga bunga? Wait, hold on. So what's it want from me? Does this open? What opens? Hold on. I may be stupid, but get big weapons, swing like caveman. Okay, I can do that. I'm good at that. Oh wait, I see what's happening now. Wait, hold on. Okay. There we go. I figured it out, Chet. We rebuilt.
Walkers are pretty
Oh!
crazy. From handling small stuff to knocking out big tasks, they got it covered.
There are no kids here, but if there were, they...
Oops. We got a letter. I'm gonna read it because my shit's in the way. I'm gonna hide. Maybe I should move chat actually. Should I move chat? I'll move chat over here for time being. Okay. It has come to my attention that a simple mistake I made got caught on hologram, and now the recording is being spread around the cradle. I enjoy my work, but it doesn't foster a positive work environment knowing that everything I do could be the subject of criticism or a joke. Is it really necessary for all operations to be recorded with such strict surveillance? I regret to inform you, upon joining the Cradle, you agreed to a contract acknowledging that all areas except for designated private zones are subject to continuous 24-hour surveillance. Honestly, I sometimes wonder if the company is pushing the boundaries with this policy, but I suppose Delphi wants to leverage its access to the state-of-the-art tech to strengthen security measures cradle-wide. I'm sorry I could not provide you a more concrete answer, but rest assured your concerns have been noted. Oh, sorry. Hand me solve puzzle. I do my best. Chat.
Probably handle them too. And with Edith managing the lot, they're always there when you need them.
Man, what should we do? It's just so much easier to let the walkers handle it.
Well, I mean, there's still plenty of work that only a human can do. Like thinking up new innovations or new business ventures to explore. But anyway, enough slacking. Time to get back to crunching those lab results.
You guys want to solve some jigsaw puzzles? We could do that when I get back. We could do that soon. I think I have enough art that I can throw together some puzzles.
Handling small stuff.
I was really broke, so I didn't have commission money.
There are no kids here, but if there were, they could probably handle them too. And with Edith managing the lot, they're always there when you need them.
Man, what should we do? It's just so much easier to let the walkers handle it.
Well, I mean, there's still plenty of work that only a human can do. Like thinking up new innovations or new business ventures to explore. Time to get back to crunching.
The RBF is drawn with V Bridger. Okay. Alright, we already looked at these. Oh god! What the hell? Can I get in there? No, that's a glass wall. Maybe I should wear my glasses when I stream more often.
Got it.
No one here either. Damn. I gotta hurry and contact Earth.
What's this? Okay. The key to living on the moon and advancing research and development was ensuring that, or access to a stable power supplies. It's fair to say that the advanced systems in place at our solar power plant have been the backbone for us supporting Delphi's development and expansion at the cradle. We got a box. Yippee, wahoo. A repair kit. Yay. Hold on. Let's get this and then we'll go down. Yay! Spoils. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, I didn't leave enough! Oh!
Here somehow leads us back up to the top floor.
Maybe there's an elevator up ahead.
Let's get all this stuff. What are you?
Wow, more limb.
What are you? LB. This one? How do I take you up? Okay, hold on. Let's go over here first. Then it'll probably let us take it up. Anything else? No. Got it. My ammo's full.
Please remove them from the premises.
Something's aiming at us.
Oh god. Oh god.
Hacking. Defenses right there.
Got him!
Oh man.
Look out for its targeting thing.
How you like this? Take that! Guess that's that.
Can we backseat? Sure.
I'll hack the lift if you're ready.
Gotta ham it up. I see. I gotta ham it up more.
Are we there yet?
Was that hamming it up enough?
Starting to feel a bit lost.
Hammer time. That's what we're gonna call
Hamter.
whenever Super Manager has to do something, we're calling it hammer time now.
I
We
miss
gotta-
my wife, Tails.
I miss her a lot. Yippee. Okay. Yay, thrust. I shouldn't have done that, but we'll be fine. I miss my Super Manager chat. I miss her a lot. Huggo.
Lockdown disengaged. Reconnecting primary power. Energy levels at 30%. 40%. 50%.
No, it's not. You're imposing that on yourself.
Warning. Unauthorized access detected.
Shadow the Hedgehog pissed on my fucking wife. That's a...
Unregistered guests are forbidden from this area. Initializing sector guard protocol. Scanning.
No.
Targets identified. Neutralizing threats.
Guys, when Mr. Bark was just a little chudling, I would swaddle him like a baby. It was very cute.
Get ready.
Oh god, he fast!
So it's not one of your pot buddies?
Woo!
You just go in blasting. Yeah, let's do this.
Ah! No!
Missiles. Lucky us, right?
Hold on. Easy. You still bounce your cat when you hold her? Oh, I love that.
Hey, who are you pushing around?
Can I use this on him?
These are shooting to me.
Oh! Ooh! Uh-oh.
Come on, enough already.
Shoot him right in his robot butt! It's not nearly this exciting when I carry my knees. Oh. Uh-oh.
Come on, enough already.
Let's go get this over here. These are codes and I can get you.
Get some.
Oh, critical shot. A powerful follow-up attack when near a downed enemy. Okay, right trigger. Shit. Oh, I didn't get close enough? Right in the ass, come on. Right in the dick.
Come on, enough already.
What's this? It looks like a giant Twinkie. Oh, it's just a brie. He's down again. Oh. Okay.
Dirty bastard.
He gets knocked down. He gets up again.
Overdrive protocol initiated.
When hacking gauge fills Diana's ability, Overdrive Protocol can be activated. When used, it opens nearby enemies, immobilizes them briefly, and deals damage. Okay.
Whoa! Where did that come from?
Yeah, hold on.
Really did something.
Yeah, not bad.
Woo! It feels a little bullet hellish a little bit too. It's kind of fun.
Get ready.
I like this.
Shoot it where it's weak, you. Here it comes.
Woo! Woo!
Now's your chance.
Yes, we did it this time. Oh!
Just like that, you. We're so close. Just a little bit more.
All right. Time to kick.
Yeah, get blown up, stupid. Strong points?
Energy levels restored.
Yeah, baby. We did it.
High five.
This is how we say good job.
Mm. She's so cute. Oh, I love her. I got a gun.
All right. Time's up, kiddo. Show me what you were working on.
Okay. Here, take a look.
Did she draw him? She's got such pretty eyes. Oh! I really like it. We just finished the demo. Hi, Lucid. I enjoyed that. I really want to play the full game super bad. The gameplay's really fun. Oh, Chad, I want it. I want it. Good dad slop game, I know. Oh, I need to re-enter my dad arc. Summer's over. I can't grill anymore. Do you think someone will be pregnant in Pragmata? I hope not. I hope not. Nice. I watched a friend do the demo a few weeks ago. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. Chat, do we want to fit in a quick game of words on stream really quick before we thank you for the head pats. No, we were I accidentally mentioned Kojima when I didn't mean to earlier. Oh, while I was locked in, I missed a follow. LD Skill, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. What's some more dad slop chat? Death Stranding. We were talking about Death Stranding. That's why Kojima came up. But yeah, I want to play this when it comes out. We could words on stream while you set up movie night. Yeah, that's what I was thinking because we got 15 minutes left. And I missed you guys. I was gone for a week. I want to spend time with you. I want to spend every minute. Give me a quick second though. I'm gonna go ahead and start setting it up. There we go. Movie night? We're watching Tokyo Godfather. Yeah, Tokyo Godfather's later in the Discord. Hold on a second though. Yeah, we're gonna watch it. Feel free to join us. We'll be doing it at the start of the at the start of the hour. Yeah. Uh-oh, guys. Okay, I got it. Give me a quick sec, okay? I gotta set it up really fast. We're gonna update that. Okay, I don't want to do all this, so we're gonna do this. I don't know if I can, but enjoy it. Thank you. It's my first time watching it, so I'm pretty stoked. In the new condo, the previous owner propped up an air duct with chicken wire and floppy disks. What the hell? That's crazy. Okay, give me a quick sec. Okay, I think this is correct. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Alright, chat. It's been a while since we played it again. Reconsider just to see your reaction on chat. Well, that flatters me. I hope you're able to make it, but don't stress yourself out trying to make it work, of course. So you can use, if you scan this little QR code over here, you can use your mobile device to play the game, but you can also just use Twitch chat, which I'm going to be using. I'm going to be joining you guys on Twitch chat because I don't feel like setting it up on my tablet right now. So I'm going to make chat just a little bit less in the way really quick, so... And then you guys don't want me. I'm gonna peek. I'm gonna peek. So we'll do this. Favorite Xmas movie tied with Elf. That's some pretty high praise. I'm really excited. I'm gonna go ahead and oh god, the music. Guys, she's peek. I'm Peem. I haven't done Hamela peek with this model yet, so that's kind of exciting, right? Should I wait for ad gain? I'm gonna wait for ad gain really quick. And, yeah, change my words on stream. I changed it. Thank you for the head pats. I'm gonna wait Hi, Vento. Welcome. I'm gonna wait until ad gain's back, and then I'll hit that start button, okay? And then you guys are gonna get to hear me click clap my keyboard. Speaking of that, guys, tomorrow I'm gonna play another typing game, okay? Come watch me play it. I'm playing what's it called? Dead Letter Department? Something like that. It looks really good though. It looks really good. And then I'll have the keyboard cam set up tomorrow too. Let's see. Hold on, it's kind of, there we go. There we go. But yeah, make sure you get in. I got about 45 seconds until ad gain comes back. So if you're gonna be using your device, make sure you get locked in, scan that QR code, you know. Just moved my tower PC from the old house today. I walked into the game room and saw this ominous black pillar and nearly scared myself shipless. Lost all my battleships. No, your battleships. Oh no. Your battleships and your situationships and your relationships and whatever the kids are calling them these days. I should take a sip. Possible. I didn't say that right at all. Hello, though. Hello. Welcome, welcome. All right, chat. Ad gain is returning in now. I'm gonna hit start. I'm so excited. I've wanted to play this all day. Yes. Whoa. Oh, wait. I have to wait for the lock. Why didn't login work? Oh. This is kind of a crummy one. Oh wait, hold on. I should probably move chat a little bit more. I'm gonna move you guys right here. I know, we need Crow out here. But it's okay, we met the goal. Longing. Your chat delay is massive? Oh no. Is anybody else having an issue? Oh. My shit's a little bit scuffed. Think it's on your end? Oh, I'm sorry about that. I wonder, I think if you play it on a device, it's a little easier, but also it's kind of a pain in the butt. It's like 5 seconds. Man, I wish there was a... Hold on, I'm thinking. Oh, we've only got about 8 minutes. I'll keep going. But I'll see if I can fix it for next time, okay? That's a pinky promise, alright? That's crazy. Wait! Suck. Chat delay is literally just about where you're physically located in the world. I also hate guessing the lock timer. I feel so bad. I'll see what I can do, because maybe Words on Stream has a setting I can play with. Oh, we got one more 4-letter word. Oh! Good job! Okay. You know, I was kind of thinking about it too. I was like, why am I getting so many of these? Ooh, hold on. And I'm having internet issues. Okay, I think I fixed it for now. Fingers crossed. Oh. Ooh, through went through. Oh wait, hold on. F is fake. Oh, try it again. I guess it's a name, not a... Oh, we already got gout. Hort. This one's kind of tough. Hammie, by the way, we have no words on stream music, but that might be better since we don't get the suspenseful music. Oh, I wonder what's going on. Very strange. Yeah, no, this is really scuffed for some reason. I kind of hate the words on stream music a little bit, so you guys get it lucky. I wonder why it's giving me a hard time. How about some copyright-free uke music? You know what? I got you. I got you. Hold on, hold on. Yes. Yes, hold on, hold on. Oh my god, I need to be finishing this up. Grandpa got plowed over by a semi. I would! I absolutely would! If it weren't Firefox issue. If it weren't a Firefox issue, I absolutely would. Believe me. What if I just play this on repeat? Wait, what does this mean? Wait, what does this mean? Hold on, chat. Hold on, chat. Hold on, chat. This is what my Spotify is telling me is up next. Penis music funk hard style. Chat, I want to listen to it. What if we listen to it? Love penis music. Okay, I'm gonna let it roll. I'm gonna let it roll. It won't be in the VOD. It won't be in the VOD. We're gonna bump that shit. You're absolutely right. This is awful. This is really funny. In my defense, whenever I make an event after stream, I do say it can kind of vary when we start. E-fake? Maybe. Yeah, I think the E is fake. NTR. I'm not ready for... Here it is. Here it is. See? This is penis funk music. I can't hear it over words on stream, but I hope it's enjoyable. You can't hear it? What is going on? Can you turn it up? Yeah, does that help? I hear the penis music. Well, I'll start it over just for you, chat, but you gotta win the round. This entire queue is a disaster. I'm letting it run its course, though. This is crazy. God. This is crazy. I gotta... Now I can listen to penis funk music. I think maybe the E is fake. Oh, no, it's not. Weird. Feast. Feats. Feet. Guys, this queue is crazy. The L is fake, okay. Oh, I already did that. Oh, L. Feta, my hamster. Yeats. So it's either E or F. We did pretty good this round. Undertale. Toby Fox is gonna take me out back like old Yeller. Is this the TikTok one? This playlist is crazy. I'm not sure if I'd take away the aux from you or glue it to your phone. Thank you. I'm very flattered with both of those potential options. This is just my Spotify queuing up things I think I'll like based on royalty-free ukulele music. God. I'm stumped on this one. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just fucking around. Is the L fake? The L is fake, isn't it? What's... Oh, but we got an E. Is surf not a word? Okay, it didn't work last time. We got 69! This is killing me. Have a good night, Violet. Thank you for stopping by. Swiss. Yes! What is this playlist, Hammy? It's not even a playlist. It's literally my Spotify queuing up music after I looked for royalty-free ukulele music. It's what my Spotify chooses. I gave Spotify the aux. Oh, we got 5 letters now. A secret R. I'm sorry, this is way too much for me. There's tears streaming down my face right now. I feel really bad for VOD gang. I feel really bad. They don't get to know. Is Wheeze? No, it's 5 letters! God damn it! This is true. VOD gang does have the title in the corner. They could listen. Oh, we're so close. We're so close. Oh, shit. Coming in clutch, Crystal. Wait, we already got that. I dropped so far. Alright, chat. We gotta lose soon so we can watch this movie. Goopy egg car horn. Just like you dropped the beat. This music is perfect. Minecraft. Wait. Is this Take Me On? Oh my god. This word sucks. Kira, welcome. I hope you had a good holiday too. I can't sad. I can't even be sad that we lost. This was awesome. We did get debuffed by the sword. I'm sorry, chat. I promise I didn't do this on purpose. What's it? What's the time? What's this? MCAP Steve? This one is a bang. This is so funny. Wait, mods, can we shout out Kira? I got... This is my first time hearing this. The official Hamcord playlist? I don't know. Holy sheep. Chat, I gotta go. I can't do this anymore. I'm like laughing so hard it hurts. I gotta cough really bad. What the fuck? What is happening? Holy crap. That was awesome. That was awesome. That was awesome. Guys, I think I'm gonna make a good playlist. I'm gonna make a good playlist when we put together puzzles, okay? We'll put together puzzles and I will, I'll let Spotify take the wheel again. I'll let Spotify take the wheel again. But yes, I must unfortunately finish for tonight. I must finish for tonight. But thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me and playing Pragmata Sketchbook and words on stream. It was good to see you too, Kira. Let me hold on. I really got a cough. I was laughing so hard. Ew, that was a really gross cough. I'm glad I muted myself. Finish Fortnite. I thought that was a battle royale. No. What did I finish? I will add Pragmata to my throne if anyone's feeling generous, but no pressure. I'm gonna get this game some one way or another. We're gonna open up the only hams. Hi, Bestie Kai. I'm sorry you made it at the end, but thanks for coming by out nonetheless. I'll be playing finish Fortnite. But yes, if you're in the Discord, we will be watching Tokyo Godfathers after this. I'm really excited. It's my first time. Thanks for coming by, Hammy. I had a lot of fun tonight, even if it was a short one. Tomorrow we'll be playing, I believe it's called Dead Letter Department. Let me confirm that really fast, please. Yeah, it's Dead Letter Department. It's another typing game. I'll have my ham cam going. You guys can see me get the tippy tappies and it'll be awesome. And, yeah, no, everybody says it's really good. I've never seen it before, so I'm super stoked. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up now that I'm about 15 minutes late because of the stupid-ass playlist. That wasn't even a playlist. And, make sure I can go back and find Goofy Aqua Horn song. But, thank you! Can you tell Kai to stop thirst trapping on stream? Kai, are you thirst trapping? That's not very say-so if you're thirst trapping. No, I gotta go, chat. I gotta go. I don't have time for this. He's been doing body cam and stuff? Whoa. I need to come by. I wanna see my bestie thirst trapping people. Playing with trains in your Christmas sweater, was it a funny one? Lucid, thank you. All right, chat. Let's here. You can keep talking about Bestie Kai thirst trapping. I'm gonna find some Hammie to raid really quick. Okay. Someone want to shout out the Discord for me? Not shout out, but you guys know. Oh, chat. Nerdy B's playing Minecraft. It's perfect. It's a perfect note to end on. So if you're not watching the movie, go hang out with Nerdy B. She's really cute. Thank you, Lucid. I appreciate you. Okay, We're gonna start the raid now, and then yeah, if I don't see you in the Discord, yeah, can we do that? Can we do that? Can that be a raid message, please? Can this be a raid message? Good night, chat. Good night, and until next time, be safe, be good, and most of all, be kind. Bye bye.